Joe Douglas spoke to the press today. Let's talk about it.
No huddle, Wilson end zone, caught, touchdown, Elijah Moore.
So General Manager Joe Douglas spoke with the press today and was asked a couple of questions. And honestly, I felt really, really good about the answers that he gave at the press conference today. So I just kind of wanted to real quick video. I'm going to try to keep it under like 5 minutes. Talk about what Joe Douglas said and kind of go over like what I think our plans are moving forward. So the first thing I wanted to touch on is he said something over and over and over again in the sense of like he kept repeating one specific word in his press conference, and that was aggressive. We want to be aggressive in this offseason. We want to be aggressive in our pursuit of players. We want to be aggressive. And then he followed that up after one reporter asked, is like, when do you look at it and say, like, are you so set in your ways? And I thought this was a really, like, low blow of a kind of a question, but whatever. Gotta love the Jets beat, right? Asked the question and said, when do you just say, screw it, this guy's important, we need to throw a bunch of money at him, or are you so set in your ways that you're not going to do it? And he said, look, we want to be aggressive, and we're going to try to be aggressive, but we're not going to be reckless. And I loved that answer. We had reckless GMs before. Mike Maccagnan was a reckless GM, throwing money around, signing players, and doing all of these things, putting a team in a position to have to draft certain players at certain positions and things like that. That's reckless. We're not being reckless. We're being aggressive. And so I really liked hearing that from our general manager. The other thing that I enjoyed that he mentioned was that they originally planned on going into this wide receiver market, and they planned on being aggressive in the wide receiver market, and that once they saw where the wide receiver market was going, they pivoted and decided to bring in two really good tight ends where the market wasn't going to explode as much. I love hearing this because, one, that shows that Joe Douglas and the Jets are doing the correct thing. They're looking at this team and they're saying, like, we're not going to be reckless. We have holes that we need to fill. We have positions that we want to address, but we got to make sure that we're bringing in the right guys, not just whoever or Joe Schmo off the street, but we got to bring in the right guys and make sure that we're not handicapping ourselves or hamstringing ourselves or putting ourselves in a position that's not going to be advantageous. And you like hearing that because it shows flexibility from your front office, and it shows flexibility that, like, hey, we have a plan, but that plan can change. And so you like hearing that. And the last thing that I want to say is that he did mention, obviously, like, the expectation of the team is to be better, to be playing meaningful games in December, and to be playing meaningful games late in the season and all of that, and that he's in his third year. He brought it up and how the amount of draft capital that this team has and the amount of things that this team can do is compared to no one else in the league right now. We have 4 picks in the top 40, we have a lot of draft capital this year to go out and make a splash and make moves and add a lot of good depth players to this team. He talked about the previous draft class and all of that. And I just looked at it and I walked away with this feeling really, really comfortable with what he said. Now, how does this affect how we're going to be moving forward and what we're going to be doing, in this draft, and how he may have tipped his hand a little bit on kind of what's happening? One person asked about Mekhi Becton, and Joe Douglas mentioned him by name and said, we're going to go moving forward as if Becton is going to be there and he's going to be available. And I liked hearing that. I think that's what we should do. I think we should definitely draft somebody because we can't have Chuma Edoga be the 4th tackle on the list. I look at the 3rd round as right when we're going to be drafting an offensive lineman, right? Joe Douglas was an offensive lineman. He's supposed to be this awesome scout. So my thing is come on, let's go get our swing tackle late. Like, go get him in the 3rd round. Let's go do that. That's a much better value than taking someone at 4. And the other thing that I think that he mentioned that was very, very kind of telling was removing the scenario where you are in a position of need at any position on the team. And I really liked that philosophy. I think that going into this draft, assuming that we trade for a wide receiver, I have no inside information on this, but I have a feeling that A.J. Brown is going to be a Jet. I just have a feeling that he's going to be a Jet. Assuming that there is a wide receiver trade that happens, I think you look at the Jets and you go, there's only 2 positions of need on this football team. And none of these guys are going to be worth anybody coming in and trading up in front of us to go get any of these guys, is edge and linebacker. And I have, after watching Green Bean's video, and I'm going to do my own video on it, talking about the defensive backs room and how this Jets staff feels on it, because I think he made a lot of good points, and I kind of want to respond to that video, is that I think we feel confident with our defensive backs. This defense is predicated, and Robert Saleh's defenses are predicated on the pinning your ears behind your back, like pinning your ears back, getting after the quarterback, and sacking him. Like, that's the whole game plan. It's everything that they do. And so I think the Jets have officially pivoted to where I think in the first round we're probably looking at an edge and a linebacker there as your 4 and 10 picks. If not, we're probably like trading out of 10 to try to accumulate more picks. But this is under the assumption that we go and get a number 1 wide receiver. I don't know. After listening to that press conference, I felt like there's another trade on the horizon. There's a player that we don't know that's going to be made available that a team's not going to want to take a risk on. And I look at that and I go, man, I think AJ Brown's that guy. I have no insight. I don't know why, but I just feel it like in my bones that like AJ Brown might be a Jet next year, and I think that we should all keep an eye on that. I think we got to start as Jets fans watching Tennessee Titans, YouTubers and things like that to keep an eye on, what's going on in Tennessee. Is there anything coming out of there and all that stuff? But like I said, short video, a little longer than I expected. But let me know what you guys think of what Joe Douglas said in his press conference. Like I said, I really, really liked it. It was just good hearing from your general manager. We don't get to hear from Joe Douglas very often. We get pressers and things like from Robert all the time, but Robert's the head coach, and he's going to deal with the players that we already have. And it's good to, in this offseason, be able to hear from Joe Douglas, the guy who's going to be ultimately making the decisions on who we're going to get. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Remember, we are doing a giveaway on the channel. Link to that video is in the description. Don't forget to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. It helps the YouTube algorithm and lets me know what you guys like and what I should be doing. And last but not least, go Jets.